You woke up this morning and the first thing you felt was gravity. Not the normal pull of the earth, but a crushing internal weight. You are tired, not just sleepy. You are cellularly exhausted. It feels like you are wearing a suit made of lead. You drank the coffee, but the fog didn't lift. You tried to stretch, but your joints feel pressurized, like deep-sea divers moving too fast toward the surface. You feel like your internal battery is leaking charge faster than you can possibly plug it in. You have been silently carrying this specific exhaustion for weeks, maybe months. It is a secret, terrifying thought that you push down every time you look in the mirror. I'm doing everything right, so why do I feel like I'm dying? You are doing the meditations. You are eating the high-frequency foods. You are reading the texts and doing the shadow work. The promise was light. The promise was energy. The promise was bliss. But the reality is that you feel heavy. You feel brittle. You feel like you are breaking down. You look at others who are asleep, eating processed poison and living in ignorance, and they seem to have more energy than you do. You wonder if you are broken. You wonder if this spiritual awakening is actually just a medical decline that you are ignoring. Stop. Breathe. You are not sick. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are under construction. What you are experiencing is not a pathology, it is a protocol. Thousands of years ago, the master architect of high wisdom, Thoth the Atlantean, encoded a specific sequence into the emerald tablet. He didn't call it ascension flu. He called it calcination. It is the first phase of the great work. It is the necessary burning. You have been asking for the upgrade, but you forgot what construction feels like. You cannot renovate a house without tearing down the walls. You cannot build a crystalline body without burning away the carbon frame. You are living inside a biological paradox. The sensation of falling apart is actually the sensation of coming together at a higher order. Your carbon-based biology is desperately trying to run a crystalline-based operating system. You are a biological computer, trying to download a terabyte of data onto a hard drive that was only built for megabytes. The heat, the exhaustion, the pressure, that is not death. That is system latency. That is the friction of evolution. This is the self-healing code hidden in the emerald tablet. Thoth just revealed the instruction manual for your physiology, and in this video, we are going to decode it. We are going to take the lead of your exhaustion and transmute it into the gold of higher consciousness. We are not just going to talk about this metaphorically. We are going to look at the biology of transmutation. To understand why you feel this phantom weight, we have to look at the phantom DNA effect. This is not New Age theory. This is hard quantum biology. Consider the work of Russian biophysicist Dr. Peter Garyaev. In a controlled laboratory environment, Garyaev and his team placed physical DNA samples into a quartz vacuum container. They beamed a mild laser through the DNA and observed how the genetic material behaved. As expected, the DNA acted like a prism, capturing the photons and arranging them into a spiraling helix pattern. The light matched the matter. But then they did something that changed our understanding of reality forever. They removed the physical DNA from the chamber. The container was completely empty, a perfect vacuum. Logically, the light should have scattered. It should have returned to chaos, but it didn't. The photons remained spiraling in the same helix pattern, holding the shape of the DNA that was no longer there. The energy field was still holding the blueprint, even though the physical matter was gone. This phenomenon lasted for up to 30 days. Think of it like this. The blueprint exists before the building. The energy exists before the matter. Now apply this to your body right now. You are in the middle of a massive energetic upgrade. Your phantom DNA, your energetic blueprint, your light body, has already shifted. It has expanded. It is vibrating at a frequency of unconditional love, higher wisdom, and multidimensional awareness. It is spinning at the speed of light. But your physical body, your bones, your blood, your nervous system, they are dense, they are slow, they are still catching up. This creates a massive lag. You are experiencing a synchronization error between your new software and your old hardware. The exhaustion you feel is the energy required to bridge that gap. Your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, are diverting every ounce of available energy away from your daily tasks and toward this biological restructuring. You aren't tired because you are lazy. You are tired because you are running a marathon at a cellular level while you are sitting still on your couch. This is why sleep doesn't restore you. You lay in bed for 10 hours, but you wake up feeling like you've been in a fight. That's because, in the dream state, the integration accelerates. You aren't resting, you are processing. You are downloading massive packets of light codes that physically tax the nervous system. And then there is the heat. You might have noticed sudden flashes of temperature, a wave of heat rising up your spine when you are sitting in a cool room, or perhaps night sweats that leave you drenched but with no fever, or the opposite, a sudden bone-shaking chill that no blanket can fix. In the medical world, they might call this hormonal imbalance or nervous system dysregulation. But in the laboratory of the alchemist, we call this the athanor. The athanor is the alchemical furnace. In the ancient texts, the alchemist would place the raw material, the lead, the heavy, dark, unrefined matter, into a vessel. This vessel was then placed into the athanor. The fire had to be applied with precision. If the fire was too cool, the lead would remain lead. Nothing would change. But if the fire was too hot, the vessel would shatter. You are the vessel. The new frequency entering your planet and your biofield is the fire. When electricity moves through a wire that offers resistance, what happens? It creates heat. That is a law of physics. Resistance generates thermal energy. Your body is currently offering resistance to this high-voltage light. Not because you are stubborn, but because you are dense matter. You are carbon. This heat you are feeling is the friction of density leaving the body. It is the lead being burned out of your cells to make room for the gold. If you have felt this unexplainable fire, or this crushing fatigue that sleep cannot touch, I need you to click the like button right now. Not for the algorithm, but as a signal to your own subconscious. By acknowledging the symptom, you stop fighting it. When you click like, you are telling your body, I accept the upgrade, I accept the fire. We need to reframe this immediately. The pain you are feeling is the breaking of the shell. Imagine an ancient clay pot placed in a kiln. Before it goes in, the clay is soft, malleable, but weak. It is full of water and impurities. When the fire starts, the water boils off. The air pockets expand. If the pot could scream, it would scream now. It feels like it is being destroyed. It feels the pressure of the heat forcing every molecule to realign. But this destruction is the only way it becomes ceramic. This is the only way it becomes a vessel capable of holding water without dissolving. You are in the kiln. The Emerald Tablet tells us that we must separate the subtle from the gross smoothly and with great ingenuity. Thoth is telling you that this separation process, this pulling apart of your heavy old self from your light new self, is going to hurt. It is going to feel like being pulled in two directions. The ascension flu is not a sickness to be cured. It is a biological override that must be facilitated. Most people panic here. They run to the doctor, and let me be clear, if you are in medical danger, seek help. But for the spiritual initiate, the panic comes from a lack of context. They try to suppress the symptoms. They take stimulants to force the energy back up. They take sedatives to force the sleep. They try to fix the athanor because it's getting too hot. But when you suppress the symptoms of the override, you stop the alchemy. You cool the furnace down before the lead has turned to gold. You trap the density inside your body. And that is when acute pain turns into chronic suffering. That is when a 3-day upgrade turns into a 3-year depression. We are going to stop that timeline today. We are going to apply the wisdom of the Emerald Tablet to your biology. You are going to stop being the victim of your fatigue and start being the alchemist of your own evolution. This requires a radical shift in how you view your body. You have been taught that the body is a vehicle that breaks down. I am telling you that your body is a laboratory that is currently busy inventing a new species. You are shifting from Homo sapiens to Homo luminous. That sounds poetic, but it is physically violent. It requires the death of the old cellular identity. Think about the caterpillar. When it enters the chrysalis, it does not just sprout wings. That is a fairy tale. The truth is much more gruesome and much more profound. The caterpillar completely dissolves. It releases enzymes that digest its own body. It turns into a soup of genetic material. If you cut open a chrysalis halfway through the process, you wouldn't find a half caterpillar, half butterfly. You would find goo. You would find chaos. You are in the goo phase. You have dissolved your old identity, but you haven't formed your wings yet. This is the most dangerous and critical time. This is where the exhaustion is absolute, because every ounce of energy is being used to assemble the new structure. If the caterpillar resists the goo phase, it dies. If it tries to remain a caterpillar inside the chrysalis, it dies. It must surrender to the dissolution. Thoth's code is the instruction manual for surviving the goo. It is the code for the Hermetic override. This override has 3 distinct markers that we need to identify so you can stop gaslighting yourself. First, the systemic flush. This is the physical purging of toxins, old emotions, and trauma stored in the fascia. Second, temporal disorientation. This is the memory loss, the brain fog, the feeling that time is skipping or looping. Third, vibrational isolation. The sudden urge to be alone. The feeling that you can no longer tolerate the noise of certain people or places. These are not failures. These are the safety mechanisms of the override. Your biology is forcing you to slow down, to isolate, and to purge, because if you kept running at your normal pace while channeling this voltage, you would burn out your nervous system permanently. You are not dying. You are rebooting. And the screen is black right now because the update is installing. To understand why you feel like you are physically breaking apart, we must leave the vague world of energy and step into the hard physics of cellular biology. You are not imagining the pressure in your head or the heat in your spine. These are measurable phenomena. To grasp this, we have to look at the work of German biophysicist Fritz Albert Popp. In the 1970s, Popp proved something that shattered the materialist view of the body. He demonstrated that living cells do not just rely on chemical reactions to communicate, they emit and absorb light. He called these biophotons, as this is not a metaphor. Your DNA is a storage unit for light. Every single cell in your body is essentially a miniature star, emitting a weak but coherent laser field that orchestrates your biological functions. Under normal conditions, this light is stable. It is a hum. It is a standby mode. But Popp discovered a terrifying anomaly that directly explains the sickness you are feeling right now. He found that when a cell is under extreme stress, or when it is about to die, the emission of light increases exponentially. It goes from a hum to a scream. This phenomenon is called superradiance. In the moments before a biological structure collapses to make way for a new one, it floods the system with light intensity that is hundreds of times higher than normal. Think of your body like an old electrical circuit board designed for 110 volts. This is the lead vessel, the carbon-based structure you were born with. Suddenly, through your spiritual work, your meditation, and the planetary shifts occurring right now, you're attempting to run 220 volts of consciousness through that 110-volt hardware. You are triggering a systemic superradiance. Your old identity, the cellular memory of your trauma, your limitations, your past, is dying. As those old cellular structures dissolve, they are releasing a torrent of biophotons into your nervous system. You are not tired because you have no energy. You are tired because you have too much. You are wired but exhausted. Your nervous system is frying. It is the same mechanics as a computer that freezes when it tries to download a massive file while running a complex program. The fan spins louder. The heat rises. The screen goes black. The computer isn't broken. It is rendering. You are experiencing render latency. The dizziness you feel, that is the lag between your new energetic frequency and your old biological hardware. The ringing in your ears, that is the literal sound of high-frequency voltage hitting the resistance of your density. You are an organic circuit board trying not to melt while the voltage creates a new pathway. This brings us to the core mechanism of what is happening to you. This is what the ancients encoded in the Emerald Tablet, explained through modern biology. We call this the Hermetic override. This is not a random collection of symptoms. It is a specific sequential biological protocol designed to purge density so that higher frequencies can inhabit the tissue without destroying it. Thoth's alchemy was never about turning physical lead into physical gold for profit. That was a decoy for the uninitiated. The lead is your dense, carbon-based biology. The gold is the crystalline, light-conductive state of the awakened human. The Hermetic override is the process of converting one to the other, and it comes with 3 distinct, non-negotiable characteristics that you are likely feeling right now. The first characteristic is the systemic flush. This is the physical manifestation of the override. Your body treats the old, dense energy like a toxin. When you start to awaken, your cells begin to vibrate faster. Anything that cannot hold that speed, heavy metals, processed foods, repressed emotions, trauma stored in the fascia, is shaken loose. It hits the bloodstream all at once. This mimics the symptoms of a viral infection. You get the aches, the mucus, the fever. But there is no pathogen. If you go to a doctor, your blood work comes back normal. They tell you you are fine, but you feel like you are dying. This is because the toxicity is not entering from the outside, it is exiting from the inside. You are not catching a sickness, you are releasing a lifetime of energetic poison. The second characteristic is temporal disorientation. This is where the mind begins to fracture under the pressure of the new code. You might find yourself walking into a room and forgetting why you are there, not just for a second, but feeling like you lost minutes of time. You might look at the clock and feel like hours have passed in seconds, or seconds are dragging into hours. This happens because time is a function of gravity and frequency. As your internal frequency rises, your relationship to linear time dissolves. You are literally vibrating out of sync with the collective consensus of time. You aren't getting early onset dementia. You are becoming multidimensional. Your brain, the receiver, is trying to tune into 2 stations at once, the 3D world of survival and the higher dimensions of consciousness. The static you feel is the tuning process. The third characteristic is vibrational isolation. This is perhaps the most painful part of the Hermetic override. You notice relationships turning cold overnight. People you have known for years suddenly feel like strangers. Conversations that used to interest you now feel draining, heavy and unbearable. You feel a desperate need to be alone, to hide in a dark room, to pull away from the world. This is not depression. This is quarantine. In alchemy, the vessel must be sealed, hermetically sealed, to build the heat required for transformation. If the heat escapes, the reaction fails. Your higher self is isolating you to conserve energy. You are being placed in the incubator. The universe is removing anyone and anything that anchors you to your old frequency because you cannot take them where you are going. The tragedy is that most chosen ones fail the test right here. They feel the fire of the override, the exhaustion of the super radiance, and they panic. They misinterpret the data. They look at the symptoms through the lens of the old world instead of the lens of the alchemist. There are 2 main ways this failure manifests, and you have likely fallen into one of them. The first failure mode is medicalizing the ascension. You feel the pain, the fatigue, the strange heart palpitations, and you assume the hardware is broken. You run to the medical system seeking a diagnosis. When they find nothing, they give you suppressants, antidepressants, painkillers, sleep aids. Listen closely. These chemicals lower your vibration. They artificially cool the heat of the athanor. They stop the symptoms, yes, but they also stop the transmutation. By suppressing the purge, you trap the lead inside your body. You stop the release of the trauma. The energy that was trying to leave gets shoved back down into the tissue, where it stagnates and eventually manifests as actual chronic disease. You trade a temporary transformation for a permanent dysfunction. The second failure mode is high vibe bypassing. This is the trap of the modern New Age movement. You have been told that spiritual awakening is about love, light, and feeling good. So, when the pain hits, when the exhaustion crushes you, you think you are doing something wrong. You think your vibration has dropped. You try to force yourself to be happy. You chant, you visualize, you ignore the body's scream. You try to float above the pain. This is dangerous. Alchemy requires the nigrido, the blackening. You cannot bypass the burning. The heat is the mechanism of change. If you try to ignore the physical reality of the override, you create a dissociation between your spirit and your body. You become ungrounded, flighty, and mentally unstable. You split the circuit. We need a total paradigm shift. You must stop viewing your body as a dumb animal that gets sick and needs fixing. Your body is a highly advanced biological laboratory. It is an athanor, the alchemical furnace. The symptoms you are experiencing are not errors. They are evidence of work in progress. When you see smoke rising from a factory, you do not assume the factory is burning down. You assume it is manufacturing something. Your heat, your sweat, your tears, your exhaustion, this is the smoke. The Emerald Tablet is not a book of magic spells. It is a technical manual for this specific biological event. When Thoth writes, "It ascends from the earth to the heaven, and again it descends to the earth," he is describing the recalibration of your DNA. The energy must rise to clear the blocks and descend to anchor the new code. This is a violent process. Birth is violent, growth is violent. The breaking of a seed shell to let the sprout out is a destructive act. You are currently in the destruction phase. You must understand that the fatigue is actually a safety mechanism. If you had your full energy right now, while your nervous system is rewiring, you would blow a fuse. Your body creates extreme lethargy to force you to stop moving, to stop doing, so it can divert 100% of its available resources to the internal override. It shuts down the external systems, your social drive, your ambition, your physical stamina, to power the internal systems. It is akin to putting a patient into a medically induced coma to allow the body to heal from massive trauma. You are not lazy. You are in deep maintenance mode. This is the shift from victim to alchemist. The victim says, "I am sick, I am tired, something is wrong." The alchemist says, "The fire is hot. The impurities are burning off. The gold is emerging." Once you flip this switch in your mind, the resistance drops. And when the resistance drops, the pain changes. It stops being suffering and starts being sensation. The friction decreases because you are no longer fighting the process. You are facilitating it. You stop looking for a cure for the ascension and start looking for ways to stoke the fire efficiently. You realize that the intense ringing in your ears is not tinnitus. It is the recalibration of your auditory cortex to hear frequencies that were previously invisible to you. You realize that the pressure in your skull is not a migraine. It is the expansion of the pituitary and pineal glands, physically pressing against the bone as they reactivate. You are walking the path of the high mysteries. But the high mysteries are not just intellectual concepts, they are physiological realities. You cannot upgrade the software of your soul without upgrading the hardware of your body, and the upgrade process is uncomfortable. It is supposed to be. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't be change, it would just be more of the same. You are holding the voltage of a new age in a body built for the old one. The heat you feel is the friction of that incompatibility. Let it burn. You have been operating under a misunderstanding that is causing you unnecessary suffering. You have been reading the Emerald Tablet as if it were poetry. You have been treating the ancient Hermetic texts as if they were philosophical metaphors designed to make you think. This is the error. The Emerald Tablet is not poetry. It is a technical schematic. It is a biological instruction manual. When Thoth wrote the words, "Separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross," he was not speaking poetically about your thoughts. He was giving a direct command to your cellular biology. This is the great revelation that shifts you from a victim of symptoms to a master of alchemy. We need to look at this command with the eyes of a density engineer. Separate the earth from the fire. In alchemical terms, earth represents fixed matter. It is your carbon-based structure. It is the density of your bones, the weight of your flesh, and the gravity that holds your current reality in place. Fire represents the volatile, high-frequency energy. It is your soul blueprint. It is the electrical current of your consciousness. Thoth is telling you that for the upgrade to occur, these two things must be torn apart. You cannot upgrade the hardware while it is fused to the software. You must separate them. Think of this like a phase transition in physics. When you turn ice into steam, you do not simply add heat and hope for the best. You apply heat until the molecular bonds of the solid state shatter. That shattering is violent. It requires the destruction of the previous structure. The ice does not feel comfortable as it melts. It loses its form. It loses its identity. It becomes chaos before it becomes vapor. This is exactly what is happening in your body right now. You are in the phase transition. You are experiencing the biological reality of separating the earth from the fire. You have been silently carrying this fear that something is wrong, because you feel an internal tearing sensation. You feel like you are being pulled in two directions. One part of you feels heavy, lethargic, and anchored to the ground. That is the earth element being isolated. Another part of you feels anxious, vibrating, and almost manic with energy. That is the fire element being isolated. This separation creates a massive amount of tension in the nervous system. You interpret this tension as anxiety or panic. But it is not panic. It is the necessary torque required to break the bonds of your old biological identity. You are not having a breakdown. You are having a breakthrough event that requires the structural integrity of your old self to fail. We must deepen this understanding by looking at the metaphor of the chrysalis, but we are going to look at it through the lens of biology, not fairy tales. Most people think the caterpillar spins a cocoon, sleeps for a while, and wakes up with wings. This is false. Inside the chrysalis, the caterpillar does not sleep. It dissolves. It releases enzymes that digest its own body. It literally melts into a protein-rich soup. It dies. The caterpillar ceases to exist. But here is the science that explains your pain. Inside that soup, there are clusters of cells called imaginal cells. These cells hold the blueprint of the butterfly. But at first, the caterpillar's immune system does not recognize these new cells. It perceives them as a threat. It perceives them as a virus. The old immune system attacks the new potential. There is a war inside the chrysalis. The old biology fights the new frequency until the new frequency becomes strong enough to overpower the old and reorganize the soup into a new creature. This is the paradigm shift. You are the chrysalis. You are currently in the soup phase. Your exhaustion, your aches, your confusion are the physical symptoms of self-digestion. You are dissolving the old identity to make room for the new. The reason you feel like you are dying is because the version of you that was built for the 3D world is dying. And it must die. You cannot put wings on a caterpillar. You have to melt the caterpillar down to build the butterfly from scratch. This biological reality forces us to recontextualize everything you are feeling. Let us look at your exhaustion. You sleep for 10 hours and wake up drained. You drink coffee and it does nothing. You search online for the spiritual meaning of chronic fatigue, hoping for an answer that doesn't sound like a medical diagnosis. The spiritual meaning of chronic fatigue is actually a matter of energy conservation laws. Your body is a biological machine with a finite amount of daily energy credits. Under normal circumstances, you spend those credits on walking, talking, working, and thinking. But right now, your internal Athanor, the alchemical furnace, is burning hot. It is rewriting your DNA. It is stripping carbon density from your cells. It is fighting the war between the old immune system and the new imaginal cells. This process requires a staggering amount of metabolic energy. Your body is smart. It realizes it does not have enough power to run the upgrade and run your external life at the same time, so it pulls the plug on your external life. It creates fatigue to force you to stop moving. Think of this like your computer. When you are rendering a massive 4K video file, the computer slows down. If you try to open a web browser, it crashes. The mouse lags. The screen freezes. Is the computer broken? No. It is working harder than it ever has before. It is diverting 99% of its processing power to the rendering task. Your chronic fatigue is not a failure. It is a system override. Your body is diverting power from your muscles and your brain to the deep cellular core where the transmutation is happening. The lethargy is a safety mechanism to prevent you from wasting energy on trivial tasks while the great work is being performed. Now consider the emotional volatility. 1 minute you are fine, the next you are weeping over a commercial or filled with sudden inexplicable rage. You judge yourself for this. You think you are regressing. You think you are losing your emotional maturity. You are not. This is chemistry. As your cells go through this calcination process, they are releasing stored data. We know from the study of fascia and cellular memory that the body stores trauma physically. An unexpressed emotion is a chemical residue trapped in the cell tissue. As the alchemical fire burns through your body, these tissues are being scrubbed. The chemical residue is being released into your bloodstream to be flushed out. When those chemicals hit your brain, you feel the emotion again. You are not sad. You are witnessing the evaporation of old sadness. You are not angry. You are feeling the burn-off of old repressed anger. It is exhaust. It is the smoke rising from the fire. Do not identify with the smoke. Let it leave the chimney. This brings us to the ultimate implication. You are becoming a new species. The mystics call it Homo luminous. The scientists are starting to see changes in phantom DNA behavior. You are transitioning from a carbon-based processor to a crystalline-based processor. Carbon conducts electricity, but it has resistance. That resistance creates heat. Silicon or crystal conducts light and information with almost zero resistance. The pain you feel is the friction of high-voltage light trying to move through a low-voltage carbon wire. The more you resist the process, the more it hurts. The more you try to fix yourself, the more you interfere with the upgrade. This leads us to the methodological shift. The great revelation changes how you respond to your own body. The old paradigm was the medical model, or the fix-it model. In that model, pain is a mistake. Symptoms are enemies. When you feel tired, you fight it with caffeine. When you feel pain, you suppress it. When you feel anxious, you distract yourself. You treat the body like a broken machine that needs to be repaired so you can get back to work. The new paradigm is the alchemical model. In this model, the body is not broken. The body is busy. Pain is not a mistake. Pain is the evidence of mutation. When you feel the crushing weight of the lead scan, you do not fight it. You surrender to it. You say to your body, I acknowledge that you are rendering a new reality. I will lay down. I will shut down the external programs. I will give you the resources you need. The shift is from anxiety to trust. Anxiety comes from thinking you are sick. Trust comes from knowing you are upgrading. When you stop fighting the symptoms, you stop wasting energy. When you stop wasting energy, the process accelerates. The resistance is what causes the suffering. The pain is unavoidable, but the suffering is optional. Suffering is just the friction caused by your ego, trying to hold on to the old structure, while your soul is trying to burn it down. You have been looking for a cure. There is no cure for evolution. You cannot cure a caterpillar of turning into a butterfly. You can only facilitate the process. You must stop acting like a patient and start acting like the alchemist. The alchemist knows that the fire is hot. The alchemist knows that the lead must turn black and fall apart before it can turn white and become gold. You are the laboratory. You are the scientist. And you are the experiment. The separation of the earth from the fire is not a punishment. It is the prerequisite for the union that follows. Once the density is purged, the fire can return and inhabit the body without burning it. That is the goal, to have a body that can hold the frequency of the soul without shattering. So the next time you feel that wave of exhaustion hit you, do not judge it. Do not fear it. Recognize it. Say to yourself, the separation has begun. The earth is heavy, so the fire may be free. This is the code. This is the work. And you are doing it perfectly, even if it feels like you are falling apart. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place. Now we move from the theoretical blueprints into the raw data of your daily existence. We are stepping out of the library and into the laboratory. If the emerald tablet is the code, your body is the screen displaying the output. And right now, that output looks glitchy. It looks messy. To the uninitiated eye, it looks like a breakdown. But the alchemist does not judge the smoke. He reads it. He knows that specific colors of smoke indicate specific chemical transformations. You need to learn to read your own smoke. You have been looking for signs in the stars, in number sequences, in external validations. Stop looking out there. The evidence is screaming in your bone marrow. The evidence is in the heat of your skin and the heaviness of your eyelids. We are going to audit your recent physical history. We are going to look at 3 specific physiological phenomena that medical science labels as pathology, but which Hermetic biology identifies as the override. These are the signs that the athanor, the alchemical furnace of your body, is lit. The first sign is the most pervasive, the most misunderstood, and the most physically debilitating. We call this the carbon crash. You know this feeling. It is not sleepiness. Sleepiness is a gentle request for rest. This is a violent demand for shutdown. You wake up after 10 hours of deep sleep, and your limbs feel like they are filled with wet concrete. You drink your coffee, you take your supplements, you do your breath work, and yet the gravity around you seems to have doubled. You feel a magnetic pull to the floor. It is the exhaustion that sits deep in the chest, a weariness that feels ancient. You've been silently carrying this, haven't you? You've been judging yourself for it. You look at your to-do list, at your career, at your family, and you feel like a failure because you simply cannot mobilize the energy to care. You worry it's depression. You worry it's a thyroid issue. You worry you are losing your spark. Listen closely. This is not a lack of energy, it is a diversion of energy. In a city, when the engineers need to repair the main power grid, what do? They shut off the power to the residential blocks. The lights go out in the houses, so the workers don't get electrocuted while they upgrade the transformers. Your body is doing exactly this. Your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, usually produce ATP for your external life, for walking, talking, working, and stressing. But during the Hermetic override, that ATP is commandeered. The intelligence of your biology redirects 90% of your energy reserves toward internal cellular restructuring. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to transmute carbon-based structures into crystalline receivers. Your body is literally pulling the plug on your external reality to fund the internal renovation. Think of the caterpillar. When it enters the chrysalis, it does not just grow wings, it dissolves. It turns into a primordial goo. It completely loses its structure before it rebuilds. If you were to cut open a chrysalis halfway through the process, it would look like a disaster. It would look like death. But it is the messy, liquid phase of Genesis. You are in the goo phase. The carbon crash is your biology enforcing a lockdown so it can melt down the old lead identity without interference. If you fight this, if you pump yourself with caffeine and force yourself to grind through the fatigue, you are effectively turning the power back on while the wires are exposed. You are blowing the fuse. The exhaustion is a safety mechanism. It is the heavy door of the vault closing so the gold can be forged in the dark. The second sign is the polar opposite of the crash, yet it occurs in the same vessel. This is the thermal spike. This symptom is frightening because it mimics infection. It mimics panic. You might be sitting in a cool room, completely at rest, when suddenly a wave of heat rolls up your spine. It feels like a furnace door has been opened inside your solar plexus. You might wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, your heart hammering against your ribs, even though you weren't having a nightmare. This isn't menopause, this isn't a fever. This is physics. Recall the law of resistance in an electrical circuit. When you push a high-voltage current through a thin, low-quality wire, what happens? The wire gets hot. It glows. The resistance of the material against the flow of the energy creates friction, and friction creates heat. You are the wire. The lead we spoke of, your old traumas, your dense beliefs, your calcified emotional patterns, acts as resistance. The gold, the new high-frequency light codes downloading from the ether, is the high voltage. As this new consciousness forces its way into your biological hardware, it slams into the density of your unhealed aspects. It rubs against the walls of your nervous system. That friction releases thermal energy. You are literally cooking out the impurities. In alchemy, this stage is called calcination. It is the burning away of the dross. When you feel that heat, you are not sick. You are conductive. The heat is proof that the download is successful. The energy is moving. If you were purely lead, you wouldn't feel the heat because the energy wouldn't be able to enter at all. If you were purely gold, you wouldn't feel the heat because there would be no resistance. You are in the transition. You are the red-hot iron on the anvil. Pay attention to where the heat settles. Is it in the lower back, that survival fear being burned off? Is it in the throat? That's years of unsaid words being incinerated. This isn't a fever to be suppressed with Tylenol. It is a holy fire. It is the Athanor doing its job. The heat is not destroying you. It is tempering you. It is hardening the clay pot so it can hold the wine of the spirit without cracking. The third sign is the one that makes you question your sanity. This is the reality glitch. You walk into a room and completely forget why you are there. Not just a momentary lapse, but a total blank slate. You look at a simple object, a fork, a set of keys, and for a split second, you don't recognize what it is. You are in the middle of a sentence, and the words just evaporate. You feel clumsy, dropping things, tripping over your own feet. You feel like you are losing your grip on linear time. You've noticed this, haven't you? You've noticed a specific relationship with time turning cold overnight. Hours feel like minutes, and minutes feel like hours. You feel like you are floating in a void between events. The logical mind, the ego, is terrified of this. It screams early onset dementia. It screams brain fog. It tries to solve it with nootropics and puzzles. But this is not a cognitive decline. This is a dimensional shift. Think of your consciousness like a computer operating system. For your entire life, you have been running on an old version of Windows. Let's call it the 3D operating system. It is linear, logical, heavy. Now you are installing a new OS, the 5D quantum system. What happens to a computer during a massive installation? It buffers, it lags. The screen goes black for a moment. Functions that used to be instant now take time because the CPU is rewriting the core kernel code. Your brain is the hardware. It is currently being remapped to process a higher frequency of reality. The glitches are simply render latency. When you forget a word, it's because your consciousness has momentarily detached from the collective linguistic matrix to anchor in a higher density. When you lose time, it's because you have stepped out of the linear construct of Chronos and dipped your toe into the eternal now of Kairos. You are straddling two timelines. One foot is on the sinking ship of your old life, and one foot is on the dock of the new earth. The clumsiness is just the vertigo of that straddle. You are not losing your mind. You are upgrading your processor. The old neural pathways, the ones built on survival and fear, are being pruned. The synaptic bridges are being burned so that new, superconductive highways can be built. This is the separation mentioned in the Emerald Tablet, separating the subtle from the gross. Your mind is being separated from the gross collective hallucinations so it can perceive the subtle truths of the universe. These three signs, the carbon crash, the thermal spike, and the reality glitch, are the triad of the override. They are the signature of the chosen. They are the undeniable proof that the alchemical process has moved from a mental concept to a biological reality. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you are not a victim of chronic illness. You are a candidate for chronic evolution. You are in the middle of the procedure. The surgeon is at work. Stop apologizing for your exhaustion. Stop fearing your heat. Stop judging your confusion. Instead, validate it. Claim it. This is your body telling you that it has accepted the mission. It has accepted the code. I want you to verify this right now. Don't just listen, participate. Go to the comments section. If you have felt the burning in your spine, or the crushing weight of the crash, or the sudden blankness of the mind, I want you to write 3 words. I am upgrading. Do not write I am tired. Do not write I am sick. Words are spells. When you write I am upgrading, you're telling your subconscious mind that this pain is purposeful. You are reframing the suffering as construction. You are signaling to the universe that you are not broken. You are just under construction. Comment, I am upgrading below. Look at how many others are writing the same thing. Look at the thousands of other alchemists in this digital dojo who are feeling the exact same fire. You are not alone in the furnace. We are all burning together. We are all turning to gold together. Now that we have anchored the evidence, now that you know what is happening, we must move to the how. How do we facilitate this? How do we stop resisting the heat and start fanning the flames? We move now from diagnosis to practice. We move into the somatic alchemy. Stop consuming. Stop analyzing. We are done with the intellectual loading phase. The mind has the map, but the body has to walk the territory. Theory does not transmute lead into gold. Only fire does that. We are going to initiate the Hermetic override right now. This is not a meditation. This is a biological command sequence. We are entering the laboratory of your own physiology to manually adjust the frequency of your cells. If you are driving or operating heavy machinery, pause this video. You need your full somatic attention. This process requires a total system shutdown to perform the reboot. Find a position where your spine is erect. Your spine is the primary conductive rod, the antenna connecting the dense earth to the cosmic signal. If the rod is bent, the signal distorts. Sit up, feet flat, palms open on your knees. This is the posture of the pharaohs. It is the posture of reception. Close your eyes. Phase 1. The lead scan, diagnostic protocol. Turn your internal vision inward. We are going to perform a density scan. I want you to sweep your awareness from the crown of your head down to the soles of your feet, but I want you to look for something specific. You are not looking for pain. You are looking for lead. Lead in the alchemical body manifests as heaviness. It feels like gravity is pulling harder in one specific spot than anywhere else. It feels like wet cement drying inside your muscle fibers. Scan now. Is it in the lower back? That is the seat of survival fear, the primal lead. Is it behind the eyes? That is the lead of cognitive overload, the refusal to see the truth. Is it a tightness in the chest? That is the lead of grief, the heart shielding itself with heavy metal. You have been silently carrying this weight, assuming it was a medical failure or a sign of age. It is neither. It is raw material. Do not judge it. Do not try to relax it away. You cannot relax lead, you must melt it. Locate the heaviest point in your body right now. Put your total focus there. Feel the density of it. Acknowledge its mass. This is the blockage preventing the upgrade. This is the carbon-based residue of your old self. Isolate it. Target it. We are going to put this inside the Athanor, the internal furnace. Phase 2, the Emerald Fire Ignition Sequence. Now we apply the heat. In the Emerald Tablet, Thoth speaks of the operation of the sun. This is the generation of internal thermal energy. We access this through the breath. Oxygen is the fuel that feeds the fire. Visualize a flame beneath the soles of your feet, but this is not an orange chaotic fire. It is an emerald green flame. This is the specific frequency of the heart chakra and the biophotonic resonance of nature. It is cool to the touch, but hotter than the surface of the sun in its transformative power. We will use a 4-count inhale to draw this fire up. Inhale through the soles of your feet. Pull the green fire up through the ankles, the calves, the knees into the root. Count of 4, vow 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold the breath at the location of the lead you found in phase 1. Do not exhale yet. You are compressing the gas. You are building pressure. Imagine that green fire wrapping around the heavy gray lead. The heat is rising, the friction is increasing. Exhale forcefully. Shh. Release the smoke. Do it again. Inhale the emerald fire. Deep. Pull it from the core of the earth, up the legs, into the heavy spot. Surround the density. Hold. You might feel a twitching. You might feel a spike of heat. This is good. This is the calcination. The biological resistance is burning off. The lead is trying to fight the fire, but the frequency is too high. Exhale the ash. One more time. Maximum capacity. Inhale the light. Flood the body. Direct the entire stream of emerald energy into that one dense block of pain. Hold it. Squeeze the muscles around it. Intensify the pressure. You are the alchemist. You control the thermostat. Make it hot. Make it unbearable for the stagnation to exist. Exhale. Phase 3. The transmutation. Phase change. Keep your eyes closed. Shift your attention back to that heavy spot. Notice the texture. It is no longer solid rock. The heat has done its work. The lead is beginning to liquefy. This is the moment of transmutation. Matter changes state when enough energy is applied. Ice becomes water. Water becomes steam. Lead becomes gold. Visualize that gray, heavy block melting. It is losing its structure. It is collapsing into a pool of warm golden liquid. Feel the sensation of flow returning to that area. Where there was a wall, now there is a river. This is what the alchemists called the elixir vitae, the liquid life. Imagine this golden liquid gold spreading out from the center of the pain. It moves into the surrounding tissue. It flows into the bloodstream. You are not healing. You are recirculating. The energy that was trapped in the trauma is now liberated as fuel for the upgrade. Feel the relief. It is not just a lack of pain, it is the presence of power. A warm, viscous sensation sliding down your spine, coating your nervous system in conductive gold. Let it flow. Watch it reach your fingertips. Watch it reach your toes. Your entire circulatory system is now glowing gold. The emerald fire has done its work. The density is gone. Only the light remains. Phase 4. Crystallization, the structural lock. We must now stabilize this state. If we do not lock this frequency in, the old density will return. We must move from the liquid state to the crystalline state. We are upgrading the hardware from carbon to silicon crystal. Focus on your bones. Your bones are piezoelectric crystals. They generate electricity under pressure. They are the storage banks of your biological code. I want you to imagine the golden liquid seeping deep into the marrow of your bones. As it enters the bone, it begins to cool. It begins to harden. But it does not harden into heavy lead. It hardens into a diamond-hard geometric lattice. Feel a sense of immense cool strength entering your skeleton. You are becoming solid again, but this is a new kind of solid. It is light, yet unbreakable. It is the structure of the new human. Inhale slowly. Feel your spine. It is a pillar of light. Feel your skull. It is a helmet of crystal. Feel your ribs. They are a cage of diamonds protecting the heart. Command your cells now. Repeat this silently in your mind. I confirm the upgrade. I lock this frequency into the bone. As above, so below. Feel the snap of the lock. The integration is complete. The software has been written to the hard drive. The sensory validation. Keep your eyes closed for 10 more seconds. Bring your attention to the palms of your hands. Don't move them. Just feel them. Do you feel it? Do you feel a buzzing, a subtle tingling, a sensation of pins and needles, or a magnetic hum between your fingers? That is not your circulation. That is voltage. That is the gold we just created. You have successfully separated the subtle from the gross. You have generated a bioelectric field that wasn't there 5 minutes ago. You are not sick. You are not tired. You are a generator that was just choked with soot. You have cleared the chimney. The fire is burning clean. Open your eyes. Look at your hands. They look the same, but they are not. The atomic spin of the cells has accelerated. The heaviness you felt, it's lighter now, isn't it? Maybe not gone completely. Alchemy is a practice, not a pill, but it has shifted. You moved the unmovable. You proved that you are the master of the vessel, not the victim of it. Remember this state, this buzzing silence. This is your baseline. Anything heavier than this is foreign code trying to reinstall itself. Do not let it. You have the fire now. You know how to burn it. You have shifted your state. You are no longer a passive victim of a mysterious flu. You have engaged the controls. You are now the bioalchemist. This is the critical pivot point. Most seekers fail here. They understand the concept intellectually. They feel the energy sporadically, but they lack the protocols to integrate it. They treat their bodies like broken cars, hoping a mechanic will fix them. But in this laboratory, you are the mechanic. You are the driver. You are the engine. The symptoms you are experiencing, the crushing fatigue, the thermal spikes, the cognitive glitches, are simply feedback loops. They are data. Your vessel is telling you that the operating system is too powerful for the current hardware. If you do not actively upgrade the hardware, the system crashes. We prevent the crash not by stopping the download, but by reinforcing the wire. We are now deploying the tool ecosystem. These are not relaxation techniques. They are biohacking protocols designed to accelerate the transmutation of lead density into gold light. We address the 3 vectors of your existence: action, intake, and environment. Tool 1. The calcination breath, action vector. You have likely searched online for how to heal ascension symptoms, looking for a pill or a distraction. This is a misunderstanding of the physics. You cannot heal an upgrade. You can only facilitate it. When your computer overheats, you don't give it medicine. You turn on the fan, you increase the airflow. The fatigue you feel is often a toxicity spike. As your cells vibrate higher, they dump old toxins, chemical residue, stored cortisol, traumatic cellular memory into the bloodstream. This is the lead entering circulation. If it sits there, you feel heavy, depressed, and poisoned. You need to burn it off. You need the alchemical fire. Physiologically, we call this oxidation. When you are in the depths of the carbon crash, that moment where you can barely lift your arm, where you feel a specific crushing weight in the center of your chest, you are experiencing oxygen starvation at a cellular level. Your mitochondria are working overtime to restructure your DNA, and they have run out of fuel. We deploy the calcination breath. This is a high-performance adaptation of the square breathing used by special forces to regulate the nervous system. But we apply a specific visualization to trigger the placebo-nocebo biological response. The protocol. Execute this when the heaviness is acute. Do not wait. Step 1. The geometry. Sit with your spine erect. The spine is the rod of the athanor. If it is bent, the current does not flow. Close your eyes. Step 2. The intake. 4 seconds. Inhale through the nose for a count of 4. Do not just pull air. Visualize you are pulling a white-hot flame from the base of your spine up to your pineal gland. This is the ignition. You are flooding the blood with oxygen, the fuel for the fire. Step 3. The suspension. 4 seconds. Hold the breath at the top. Do not clamp down, suspend it. In this pause, visualize that white fire burning the fog in your brain. This is the pressurized chamber. You are holding the heat to increase the reaction rate. Step 4. The purge. 4 seconds. Exhale audibly through the mouth. This is critical. As the air leaves, visualize black ash leaving your lips. This is the physical byproduct of the transmutation. You are not just breathing out CO2, you are exhaling the calcined remains of your old self. The lead is leaving the system. Step 5. The void. 4 seconds. Hold on the empty. Stay in the vacuum. This is the most terrifying part for the ego, but the most nourishing for the spirit. In the silence, the new code writes itself. Repeat this cycle for 3 minutes. You will feel a physical change. The temperature of your skin may rise. The heaviness behind your eyes will sharpen into clarity. You are manually oxidizing the stress hormones that are clogging your receptor sites. You are burning the lead. Tool 2. The solar water protocol. Intake vector. Now we address the liquid crystal lattice of the body. You are approximately 70% water, but from a molecular count perspective, you are over 99% water molecules. You are essentially a walking column of water holding a few minerals together. If your internal water is chaotic, your signal is distorted. Think of your body like a radio antenna. If the metal is rusted and broken, it cannot tune into the station. It just picks up static. That static manifests as anxiety and confusion. Dr. Basaru Emoto's research into water memory demonstrated that water molecules restructure themselves based on vibrational input. Water exposed to heavy metal music or negative words creates asymmetrical, chaotic blobs. Water exposed to harmonic frequencies or words of high intent forms perfect hexagonal crystals. Most of the water you drink is dead. It has been processed through metal pipes, treated with chemicals, and stripped of its natural geometric structure. It is bulk water. Your body has to spend massive amounts of energy just to structure this water before it can use it to hydrate your cells. This contributes to your fatigue. You are wasting energy processing dead water. We use the solar water protocol to create structured water, water that is coherent, crystalline, and ready to conduct high voltage energy. The protocol. This is your morning integration. Step 1. The vessel. Use a clear glass container. Do not use plastic. Plastic is an insulator and leaches synthetic estrogens, density, into the water. Glass is silica sand melted down. It is a crystal conduit. Step 2. The charge. Fill the glass with the purest water available to you. Place it in direct sunlight for 20 minutes. Sunlight is not just brightness, it is a full-spectrum frequency packet. The UV radiation and infrared energy physically alter the bond angles of the hydrogen atoms in the water. It reduces the surface tension, making the water wetter and more bioavailable. It turns the water into a battery. Step 3. The programming. Before you drink, you must imprint the code. Water is the hardware, you provide the software. Place your hands around the glass. Visualize the word upgrade or gold imprinted into the liquid. You are collapsing the quantum wave function of the water into a specific intent. Step 4. The integration. Drink it consciously. Feel it not hitting your stomach, but entering the bloodstream. Visualize it as liquid light flushing out the debris in your cells. You have noticed that you are thirstier than usual, yet drinking water doesn't seem to quench it. That is because you are dehydrated on a quantum level. Your cells are crying out for conductive fluid, not just volume. This protocol solves that latency. Tool 3, the density fast, environment vector. Finally, we must secure the perimeter. The alchemical process of calcination requires a sealed vessel. If you are trying to heat the substance to purify it, but you keep opening the door and throwing in garbage, the process will never complete. You will stay in the burning phase forever. This is where the density fast becomes mandatory. You are currently hypersensitive. Your biofield is open because it is expanding. This means you have no filters. When you scroll through social media, watch the news, or engage in gossip, you are not just observing it, you are metabolizing it. Every image of violence, every argument, every processed heavy meal is a frequency packet of lead. It is low oscillation data. When you ingest this during an upgrade, your system halts the transmutation to deal with the intrusion. It's like trying to download a massive file while someone keeps unplugging the router. The pain you feel, that buzzing anxiety, the sudden irritability, is often just indigestion of reality. You swallowed something dense and your new light body is rejecting it. The protocol. You need a reset, a 12-hour complete lockout of dense inputs. Step 1, the digital seal. For 12 hours, ideally from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. or a full Sunday, you consume zero digital media, no news, no feeds, no email. These are high-speed information streams that fragment your attention. Your brain needs those cycles to repair your nervous system. Step 2, the biological seal. During this window, consume no dead food. Processed sugars, heavy meats, and alcohol are dense. They lower your vibration immediately. They require massive digestive fire to break down. We want that fire available for your DNA, not your dinner. Stick to live foods, fruits, vegetables, the solar water. Step 3, the social seal. You have likely felt the urge to pull away from certain friends or family members recently. You feel guilty about it. Do not. This is a biological safety mechanism. For this 12-hour window, isolate. Do not engage in low-frequency conversations. Do not explain yourself. You are in the cocoon. When you execute this fast, you will feel a withdrawal. You will reach for the phone. You will crave the sugar. That craving is the entity of the old self fighting to stay alive. It feeds on density. Starve it. By the end of the 12 hours, the static will clear. You will hear your own intuition again. The ascension flu symptoms often vanish simply because you stopped poisoning the patient. These 3 tools, breath, water, and fasting, are your control panel. You are not helpless. You are an engineer operating a biological machine that is transitioning from a carbon-based combustion engine to a crystalline-based electric drive. The transition is messy. The transition is hot. But you have the manual now. Do not just listen to this. Test it. The next time the wave of exhaustion hits, do not lay down and rot. Ignite the breath. Charge the water. Seal the vessel. See what happens when you treat your body with the respect of a master alchemist. Stop. Take a breath. Do you feel that silence in your marrow? That is the sound of the furnace stabilizing. You have moved through the fire. You have withstood the heat. You have looked at the exhaustion, the pain, and the breaking, and you have refused to call it sickness. You have renamed it. You have reclaimed it. You are no longer a victim of random symptoms. You are the operator of a biological athanor. You have successfully identified the lead within your vessel, the heavy, dense, traumatic residue of a life lived in survival mode, and you have applied the thermal pressure required to burn it away. This is a moment of profound competence. Most human beings live their entire lives at the mercy of their body's fluctuations, terrified of every ache, popping pills to silence the engine whenever it makes a noise. You are different. You have opened the hood. You have looked at the mechanics of your own evolution and realized that the destruction you felt was simply the necessary friction of an upgrade. The athanor has done its work. The vessel is strong. The salt is purified. But we have a problem. and it is a dangerous one. There is a critical engineering flaw in stopping here. In the Hermetic sciences, and in the specific instructions Thoth encoded into the Emerald Tablet, the physical body is only 1/3 of the equation. In alchemy, we work with the tria prima, the 3 primes. These are salt, mercury, and sulfur. You have just spent this entire session mastering the salt. The salt is the body. It is the hardware. It is the crystalline structure that holds the charge. You have upgraded your hardware. You have cleaned the circuits. You have prepared the wires to handle higher voltage without melting. But imagine for a second that you take a brand new military-grade supercomputer, a machine capable of processing quantum calculations, and you install an operating system from 1995. What happens? The hardware is screaming for data. The fans are spinning. The potential is limitless. But the software is lagging. The software crashes. The software cannot comprehend the speed at which the processor wants to run. This is the state you are currently in. You have a 5D body trying to run on a 3D mind. This is not just inconvenient, it is destructive. This is where many high-level initiates fail. They purify the body, they drink the water, they do the breath work, but they leave their mental programming untouched. They leave the mind filled with the lead of doubt, scarcity, fear, and linearity. When you have a high-voltage body and a low-voltage mind, you create a dissonant frequency. It creates a psychic impedance mismatch. The energy rises from the spine, hits the brain, and hits a wall of old beliefs. This friction does not create heat. It creates madness. It creates anxiety that has no trigger. It creates a reality that glitches, because your biology is broadcasting a signal of I am gold, but your mind is broadcasting a signal of I am lead. You cannot command reality if your command center is fighting the vessel. The Athanor, the furnace of the body, is now hot. It is ready. But who is steering the ship? Who is sitting in the command center? If the pilot is still the frightened, limited version of you, the ship will crash. Thoth knew this. The Emerald Tablet was never just about biological transmutation. That is the foundation. That is the basement. The great work requires the transmutation of the mental plane. We call this the Mercury. Mercury is the bridge. It is the fluid mind. It is the communication network that tells the reality what to form around you. If your body is crystalline but your thoughts are carbon, you will shatter. You are currently walking around with a Ferrari engine, but you are driving it with the emergency brake pulled up. You feel the drag, don't you? You feel that even though your body is vibrating, your outer reality hasn't shifted as fast as you want. Your bank account, your relationships, your career, they are still lagging. That lag is the latency of the mind. You have mastered the physics of the cell. Now you must master the physics of the thought. The Emerald Tablet contains the biological code, but Thoth left another text, a more advanced instruction manual, specifically for the software of the mind. It is called the Kybalion. In the Kybalion, Thoth outlines the 7 universal laws that govern the mental universe. These are not affirmations. These are not positive thinking. They are laws of physics, just as rigid and predictable as gravity. If you do not understand the law of mentalism, or the law of vibration, or the law of polarity, your upgraded body will simply be a powerful generator powering a chaotic life. You need to override the mind. You need to perform the same calcination on your belief systems that you just performed on your mitochondria. You need to strip away the thoughts that are dense, heavy, and slow, and replace them with thoughts that are light, rapid, and golden. This is mental alchemy. Without it, you are a demigod in chains. With it, you are a creator. This journey we are on is not a hobby. It is a systematic reconstruction of the human template. We have laid the foundation today. We have poured the concrete. We have reinforced the steel. Your body is ready to hold the charge, but the current is coming. And if the switch, the mind, is not wired correctly, the fuse will blow. We are going to wire the switch. We are going to install the new operating system that matches your new hardware. We are going to complete the Trinity. You need to understand that the sensations you have felt, the fatigue, the heat, the shaking, are the cost of admission to a new level of human existence. Most people will turn back at the gate. They will feel the tired, heavy sensation of the lead scan, and they will retreat into comfort. They will choose the anesthesia of entertainment and medication. They will choose to remain carbon. You did not. You stayed. You breathed the fire. You drank the solar water. You fasted from the density. You proved to the universe, and more importantly to your own cellular intelligence, that you are ready to carry the gold. But the work is only 1/3 complete. Salt is the body. Mercury is the mind. Sulfur is the soul. We have secured the salt. Now we hunt the mercury. I am preparing the next transmission now. It is a breakdown of the 7 Hermetic laws of mental transmutation. We are going to take the principles of the Kybalion and apply them with the same scientific rigor we apply to your biology. We are going to debug your mind. We are going to remove the viruses of poverty, unworthiness, and fear, and we are going to code in the sovereignty that your new body demands. You cannot afford to miss this. A high-energy body with a chaotic mind is a dangerous weapon aimed at itself. You must align the two. You must bring the mercury into harmony with the salt. Look down at the button that says subscribe. That is not just a metric for a website. That is your signal to the algorithm of your own life that you are not stopping at the physical layer. Click it to lock in your intention. Click it to tell the universe that you are coming back for the mind. You are coming back to finish the great work. You were not born to suffer. You were not born to remain in the density of lead, trapped in a body that feels like a cage. You were born to transmute. You were born to turn the heavy into the light. The fatigue you feel is simply the feeling of the lead leaving the system. Let it go. The body is the first step. It is the vessel, but the mind is the pilot, and the pilot must be awake. I will see you in the mental plane. Prepare your mind. The upgrade continues.